Hello there, welcome to GreenWales. You find us today within Bringewood House in a beautiful location, in a beautiful house with beautiful parks and gardens all over us. We are joined today with Jill Davis from the Cake Programme. How are you? Are you okay?
I'm good, thank you. And it's a lovely venue, even if it is pouring down.
I mean, it's absolutely a beautiful venue. I love the windows. They've kept the aesthetics and the history. It must be listed, my guess, this building.
I think so. I think it's probably grade 2 listed. But
Lovely.
that's it.
Sorry, it's a beautiful place. We digress. Jill Davis is the Programme Manager for Cake Programme. Jill, will you tell us a little bit about Cake and what you guys do here?
And it's not just about eating cake. It's the Circular Economy Innovation Community, and we're based at Cardiff Metropolitan University. And we've been working with businesses across South Wales, helping them to embed circular economy principles and develop their innovation skills.
Oh my God, so you can clearly see why we've invited Jill to be part of the programme. I've also been part of her programme on one of the, it's 1.5 day sessions, isn't it, with the Circular Economy Innovation Community. Is it
Kickstart programme.
Kickstart programme, thank you very much. So this was part of my second day, and I was like, why don't I ask Jill if she'll feature on the channel? So we've just finished our second day session. We've made commitments to lower our carbon, our scope 1, 2, 3 emissions. We've had a nice cup of tea, which I've just got right here with me. We've said goodbye to all the participants, and I thought, can you be on GreenWales, please? And she very kindly said yes, until we sat down. She's like, oh my God, what have I let myself in for? This is what she's let herself in for. We tried to be as grassroots as possible, and we tried to be on the forefront. I say the cold face, but we're all about the green energy sector and green sustainability in Wales. We'll call it the renewable face of the Future Generations Act. I always say a little script before we go, and I always say Wales is full of world-class thinkers, makers, innovators and community leaders who are shaping a greener tomorrow. But their stories are often hidden. GreenWales was created to shine a light on these people and projects, to celebrate sustainable Welsh innovation and to help organisations connect, collaborate and grow. By aligning with the Wellbeing and Future Generations Act and the UN SDGs, we amplify what's working, inspire others to join the movement and support the 95% micro-business economy that powers Wales. Our mission is to build a strong, connected sustainability network, one that helps Welsh solutions thrive at home and reach audiences across the UK and worldwide. So that's what we're all about. So are you ready for a couple of questions?
Oh, go for it.
We've got 5 in total. There's no pressure, because when I say we've got 5 questions, I think I'm just lamping the pressure on, but there is no pressure. We try to take it right back. We don't expect everybody to know everything. So I try to work with people a little bit. If they go, I'm not quite sure, I've always got a couple of ideas, I'm sure, that I can bring up as well. So our first question is, how does your work contribute to a more sustainable and prosperous Wales? And which future generations or SDG goal does it support, Jill?
Well, the Cake programme's been running for the last 5 years. We work with organisations, public, private and third sector organisations across South Wales. And our key is actually looking at how do we raise the awareness about circular economy, but also develop innovation skills and build a network of like-minded people who can actually work together, support each other, share ideas. And so the programme runs over either the short...
We have just had a technical issue. The camera stand just fell over slightly, so we've gone and changed it. So at the end of that last picture, it went boom. But we'll probably end up keeping that in. Jill, are you happy
to have the outtakes in?
We will have to have the outtakes in. So we can either do the question again, or you can pick up where you were left off. So the question was, how did your work contribute to a more sustainable and prosperous Wales? And which future generation or SDG goal does it support? You were talking amazingly about the different programmes. I think you were just talking about the 2 different programmes.
Yes, so we're running 2 different programmes. So Kickstart, just to get people raising their awareness about circular economy, understanding how they can contribute, completing a carbon reduction plan, but not only just putting some figures on there, but actually giving them some clear actions that they can take. And some of them are quite simple actions that they can actually take in their businesses and also in their home life. The longer programme, we use design thinking to start getting people to be using their innovation skills, because we can't keep on doing the same things that we've been doing for years and expecting a different result. I know I'll quote Albert Einstein, but if we just keep on trying to deal with the waste, it's not going to solve where we are. We need to start looking at the circular economy and how do we refuse things? How do we start reusing, repairing things? So using those principles of circular economy, about designing waste out in the first place, keeping things in use as possible, and also then regenerating the natural environment. To date, we've worked with about 400 participants across South Wales. So we have developed quite a network of people who, with all of the same thinking, can help share and support each other in their circular economy journey. So it's about 250 organisations as well. So that's ranging from sole traders right through to some quite large public sector organisations. So even on today's group, we've had a mix from some people from the university, a local authority, we've had some an education provider, we've had yourself on here, so and he still survived and he still wants to talk to me.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. A GreenWales thing at the moment because we're at the beginning. We're having lots of little technical issues, which is undermining the interview, which is not great. But we will cut forward and carry on. So I will clip everything together and we'll make it look beautiful as you always do. So we're going to kick back into the second question. So the second question, Jill, with the cake project is, what product, service or solution do you offer, and how is it helping Welsh communities or businesses transition to net zero or circular thinking? Now, I know you talked slightly about the two different programs. Might be worth going into some of the elements within that program, and then maybe about the further sides with the arena coming to the conference and the wider sort of aspects.
Key thing I did mention, we're trying to build that network and that support and that community of practice of people. So over the second programme, which is over 6 months to develop their innovation thinking and their circular economy, embedding their principles, over that period, they're working 1 day a month. And whilst we are an academic institution, we're about as far away from academia as you can probably get. Whilst we are all underpinned on academic research, type of process that we use, it's all experiential. People are working on something that's real to their business, and we will take them through the design thinking design thinking process. So they'll start looking at, well, what really is the problem? And quite often people join our program thinking, well, this is the problem I want to tackle. We give them the tools and skills to actually go out and do a bit of research about what is the problem, go and talk to people, find out what's actually happening. And probably about 95% of the individuals come back and say, well, that wasn't what the problem I thought was, and there's a much bigger issue I need to actually tackle. And if I tackle that first, it's going to have much more impact than if I'd started with the one problem that I originally thought I had. We're developing their skills on really clearly identifying what the problem is. We develop creativity skills and are doing an ideation session to actually get people to really think outside the box. Because as I mentioned earlier, we can't just keep doing the same thing. And just because we've always done it, it doesn't mean to say it's going to be the right thing for us to move on. And in this circular world, we've got to start thinking, why have we got everything wrapped in plastic? Why do we do things the way we do? Is there a different way? Yeah. Why are we using a supplier that's based in China when there's one up the road that could provide exactly the same thing, and then developing the prosperity of Wales because we're using a Welsh company? So all of those things we get covered during the programme. We're building that network. We try and have an annual conference so that we can bring together everybody who's been through the programme. As I've said, we're nearly sort of 400 people being through the programme. We don't get 400 at the conference, but we'll get quite a large number of those people coming to conference. People will share what they've been doing, what their ideas. And whilst they may be in completely different industries, quite often the light bulb moments go off and say, well, I could actually apply that in my industry or in my organisation, so that I can then embed those principles. And we've had links from people from somebody who even sharing furniture. Somebody's getting rid of some furniture and there's another company up the road who says, oh, I'm looking for something. Or we've got somebody who's looking at cement, who's working with somebody who's got coffee grounds to get rid of. So the differences with different organisations, whilst initially you might say, why are they all together on the same cohort? They can't teach each other anything. Actually, they can, because those are the people who ask the questions, well, why are you doing that?
And I think that's what makes it really exciting for Wales and an opportunity for Wales, because we are, as we said at the beginning, 95% SMEs, which just means the innovation can be world class. And I think the support around us and the CEIC program really joins all the dots together for collaboration. And I think collaboration, again, with the Future Generations Act is key for all the success. Partnerships are great, collaboration, sharing resource, and that then creates a microcosm, which then can help bring prosperous Wales. I was interviewing Coalfield Flowers a couple of weeks ago, and they were talking how they collaborate with other small floristries. Then they will create a hub together, and that means they'll be able to give deliveries of flowers and services all year round by working together as a one people band, which is great.
And I think we tend to think about, we've got a lot of small to medium-sized businesses, and I think in a lot of ways that's a benefit for us as Wales. We can react quickly, we can do things much quicker than the large organisation who has to go through 6 tiers of management to actually get a decision made. A lot of small to medium-sized industries can actually identify a challenge, work out what they need to do and do it.
And Joe, we were saying this earlier on, I really think Scope 3, which is really hard to address emissions, is an amazing opportunity for businesses in Wales. So instead of getting your things from China or anywhere else all over outside of Wales, if you deliver the same service, but you live in Wales and you deliver in Wales, you're automatically going to lower that company's carbon footprint, which just means there's a huge opportunity for them to realise, being like, I can literally do the same thing, but become prosperous because it's done in Wales. And I think it's just getting those supply chains back. And then that creates prosperity back in small communities, towns, and puts us, I wouldn't say back to, the good old days, because it's a completely different way of living now. And I think there'd be much more shared prosperity, which we all want, and the answers are out there. It's just, and I think that's where the CEIC program is great, because it shares that knowledge, brings people in and inspires them more. So that brings me on to my third question. What challenges have you faced as a Welsh business or project, and what support or collaboration would help accelerate your impact?
Challenges for us are very much raising the awareness of that circular economy is something that everybody can actually get involved in. A lot of, when you read the carbon net zero, and you see a lot of publicity about it, it tends to focus on, well, can you buy an electric car, or can you put an air source heat pump, or can you put a solar panels? And for the majority of people, they quite often say, I can't do anything along those lines. I can't do it. So to raise that awareness of circular economy is something that everybody can get involved with, that just recycling is not the answer, is a challenge, because it's not something we've just sent away. Why did we have the amount of waste that we've got in the first place? What could we have done? And a lot of our programme, we've tried to bring those questions into our programme. I mean, challenge for us really is getting people to actually, once we've got people onto the programme, the majority of people on our programme going, how did I not come on this before? Because we're doing 1 day a month, people are then continuing to network with that group of people. They've been on 1 day a month, but actually getting people in through the door in the first place is a challenge, because there's too much jargon about, well, what is circular economy? What is sustainability? What is net zero? There's lots of jargon out there and people don't actually understand. And from our perspective, funding is an issue. We have programme, we're funded probably this year, we've been funded on an annual basis. At the moment, we don't know how we can keep the programme going. We can offer it commercially, but again, for an SME, sometimes that's quite a challenge.
Yeah, and things are tight right now in the general economy, so who's got money? And everybody's looking for money. Everyone's looking for that funding, everyone's looking for that pot. And I think that's a challenge for the entire economy of the UK, not just a Welsh. But in some ways, Wales is a bit more vulnerable because we're full of SMEs, because we're very small, so there's less room to manoeuvre to a certain extent when things start to fall away, like funding, etc. But I hope, again, with the Future Generations Act cutting through the country and the way that we do long-term vision, I hope in the future the way funding is delivered and the model that it's funded, it's done in much more of a collaborative, long-term sort of vision.
Yes, it needs to fit in with that future generation about being long-term.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise,
we're not the only ones that are suffering from the short-term thinking in terms of funding. A lot of these projects, and people will need longer than 6 months to a year to actually embed the tools.
And I know you were talking earlier about we've got so many advocates here who could speak so highly. We've got 400 companies. I'm sure they would all speak highly of the CEIC program and the possibility of that program going forward in the future and how valuable it is to Wales then and the economy. Fingers crossed, it'll just go strength to strength. It doesn't mean things don't need to slightly change, modernize, because things do change. You know, how we got our carbon footprints together 6 years ago is probably a little bit different. It's probably more in depth now. So it's always worth modernizing and changing and chopping. But I think that's what's exciting about CEIC. It does that naturally by the participants that it has coming through and the experiences and those connections. And you said about awareness. There was a gentleman who you said about checking out. And he says, what was it? He's like, awareness. You know, everybody has that awareness of sustainability, even though some people think sustainability is just financial. I view sustainability as everything from environmental, social impact, circular economy. Financial then comes into that naturally, because if you make those first few steps, you then see it coming back to you in a different way. And I think it sells itself to you. And you said, as soon as they're in. But I do hope that CEIC has got to a size, exposure-wise and awareness-wise, there is actually a bit of a demand for it. And I see that personally from the outside looking in. Thank you. So question 4, 2 questions left, so don't panic. How could other Welsh organisations, communities or SMEs work with you, and what opportunities do you see for collaboration in Wales?
I mean, we'd love to see as many organisations through our programme as we can possibly achieve, because the more people are talking the same language, the more people are questioning things, the more we're going to get things done. The more people who are refusing plastic wrappers around things. I mean, we could save a mountain of plastic just by getting the supermarkets who tell us we want all this plastic, but we don't. But there isn't a big enough swell of people who will actually start saying no, questioning. The more people, so in terms of collaboration, we would love to collaborate with, even if it's local authorities, getting people, for them to support their organisations and their business clubs, raising the awareness of circular economy, raising the awareness of what every single individual can actually do. We've worked with some schools, and we've worked with schools trying to actually get it into the curriculum. So we've done some Cardiff schools, and that has been really successful, where they've just embedded circular economy principles into the curriculum. So from 5-year-olds are starting to ask those questions, and those are the ones that would be really absolutely key. It's
sort of joining up everybody who's already doing it. You've got the pockets everywhere, haven't you? You've got pockets of industry, pockets of councils. We've had a council, not a leader, but within the financial side of it anyway, a leader within that. And you've got all the individuals there. It's probably just a little bit of high-level leadership to go, right, we're now going to put this all together as one, which again is why the Future Generations Act exists. It's what it aims to do with collaboration, and hopefully this is what this channel will help put together as well, because anybody watching this, anybody who's been on it before, can collaborate, can contact. That's the whole point of this. So then it's a ... Oh, I want to have sustainable floristry. I'll go to you. Oh, I want to tackle sports poverty in my area. I can talk to this company.
And a lot of the challenges tend to be people don't know where to go. They have they want to do it. They have the commitment to do it, and then hit a brick wall because they go, well, I don't know anybody that can actually support me in this. Or where do I go? I've got this product, and I need a new product, or I need some new suppliers. How do I find those? Where are they? Where are those people? And there isn't.
I think CEIC does a lot of that service though, because I know you've got the alumni group on LinkedIn, which I've just joined in, and that for me is just, it'll be so invaluable. If I've got any question within the circular economy, I know there's probably going to be an answer there. And whether that's a service that someone's providing, advice because they've already been down there and they know the lessons that have been learned before to stop you from having those same lessons, or just the guidance and support so you can ask those questions. I think that's where CEIC stands to me. It's like a supportive structure that helps the entire Welsh economy move towards a more sustainable footing.
You can actually support each other. So whilst we bring people together and facilitate the programme, facilitating the learning, I would say the majority of the learning is actually coming from
the
individuals and the ongoing networking of people. And our conference last week, the atmosphere in the room was amazing. And they were all from different cohorts, but they'd all been through the same thing. They all understood what they had to do, and they were all quite happy to share with each other
Because they get what collaboration
because they
is.
get what it is, and they see the benefit. And we had, a number of speakers talking about what they were doing, and afterwards people were going, I can help with that, or can you give me more information? And that is how we will develop Wales.
And it's the genuine conversations, because you can be a green company or a green organisation that holds events, but it's how you're true to the message all the way through. Yes. And I think that's where CEIC is very good and has always done a very legitimate sort of presentation of what it is. It's never greenwashed, has never said things that aren't true, which then means then people are more likely to collaborate, more likely to trust their surroundings and to attend as well, which means genuine impact that does then happen, which is great to see. And even in the cohort that we've had today, not a huge amount of us, but actually the collaboration between 3 people I've had already has been really valuable, and the insights and the advice I've been given just before we had this interview was amazing. I just wish I had a paper and a pencil on me, but I know I had my phone is all set up here, so we couldn't do it. It leads us to our last question. We've got a bonus question at the end, but our last question is this: what is your long-term vision for Wales, green economy, and what role do you hope to play locally, nationally, or globally?
A long-term vision for Wales is a circular economy Wales, that where we have got that ability to network, ability to share. We need some mechanism to do that. I'm not saying it isn't a challenge, but we can do it in Wales. We've got Future Generations Act, which is an amazing piece of legislation. We now actually need to implement it fully. And we've got, whether that's widening it to private sector, because Future Generations Act is probably quite well embedded in public and third sector. But if you talk to private sector about it, maybe they don't know so much about it. And if we can embed it with them, that should drive the Welsh economy. It should get us to be more prosperous. Circular economy isn't just a nice to know. It's a need to know. It's about, we have to be doing it. I know I showed you the video this morning, which was about water usage, but it was basically, we may run out of water. We think we've got lots of water in Wales. Well, yes, it is. It's pouring down today, but it's probably falling at the wrong time in the wrong place, and we're using far too much of it.
Yeah. What was the name of the video called again? Just is it?
It's Manchester United. I can't remember the actual name. It's with Manchester United.
Manchester City.
So City. Sorry to all those football fans. Wrong Manchester.
No fans to be offended.
No fans to be offended here. No, sorry. It was sponsored by Manchester City.
I'm trying to think what it's called now. I can't think, but just have a little look up water shortage, Manchester City, and maybe I'll put it in the bottom here, a little link to it at the same time.
I mean, one thing I was going to mention, which I haven't done, is about this wonderful place that we are here in Bringewood House. And one of the reasons we are here today is from our perspective as CEIC. Anytime we run workshops, we always try and use a community venue or something that's got some links with social enterprise, because we're part funded by UK government at the moment. So why should we put that money back into a large conglomerate hotel? We would much prefer to use a local venue. Again, building on that, it is building that prosperous Wales. So that's our key. But one of the members of the team here came on one of our earlier programs, and actually what the light bulb moment he had here was, so if I say Bringewood House is the wedding venue, but it's part of Awen Cultural Trust. So the money that they make from this venue actually gets fed back into the Cultural Trust, and they run a number of venues and libraries. So they run the one in Porthcawl Pavilion, so a number up the valleys. So the money that they raise from here will get fed back into that. But they also, because they have beautiful grounds, they were running a project with some people with learning disabilities in Beleaf. And they were training them, giving them gardening skills, growing mainly flowers, and doing things for the summer. And because we had a member of the team here, the light bulb moment was, we've got ground, we've got a venue, we produce food. Why can't Beleaf start to produce vegetables that we can use in the venue? And you think, well, that's a simple idea. Nobody had ever thought about it. So they now grow the majority of vegetables that they use for their venues, for their weddings, We've just had lunch with all of the vegetables we had in our lunch today were actually grown on site. And the chef now works very closely with the team to identify what he needs to grow. Can it be grown here? We've now got our carbon footprint in terms of mileage for the vegetables is now down to feet rather than miles, because it's grown here, it's fresh, but it's taken the whole team to collaborate and getting that done. And the chef here has been amazing in taking that on board with designing his menus around what they can grow here.
I will big up the grounds as well, because I started coming here when my daughter was very little, and I think at the time either the trust had only just taken it on, or it was quite, or it just hadn't been taken on. And the grounds were in quite a lot of disrepair. The park wasn't in a great shape, but in the last 7 years, this place has completely revitalized. And I was over in the Japanese garden, they call it that.
Yes,
beautiful. But they were completely restoring it at that moment in time, and I was just like, even 2 years ago, it's completely unrecognizable, and it's such a nice day out, and it's got so many different things here, from the wildlife little center at the start. You've got a lovely, amazing park that's being completely revamped right now. Got a little lake I'm actually looking onto at the moment. Amazing house here, which does events all year round, and I love it in here. And then you've got amazing gardens, which you can go for a tour through the forests, and there's an amazing thing where a tree has fallen, and instead of them chopping the tree up, they built a bridge over it. So it's using the land and all the natural landscape, and the people working here, you can see it all working well together. So,
and it's that work of it's circular economy in terms of the growing and the vegetables, but it also has a social value in supporting people with learning disabilities to enable them to have the skills, the gardening skills, and an opportunity to work here.
And that's a collaboration as well, and long term.
Yes.
So it's like tick, 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 tick. So my last question was, who else in Wales is doing a brilliant statement?
It's
Bringewood, which is perfect, and I'm glad it just came so naturally. And I've done a lot of training over the years in lots of different venues, and the food here is probably the best food I've ever had, and the crisps. Oh my God. Like, if there's any left, I'm taking them with me, because they're literally made here, and it just shows you that by collaborating and working closely, the product you get is much higher, more unique, and more high value. And the costs for the company are lower, the social value is better, and the well-being is higher, which means the results are better, which means the service is higher, which means hopefully it becomes more prosperous. And all I see here is, yes, it does. So thank you very much for coming on to GreenWales. We've had a couple of technical issues, but I think we got there in the end. I need to have a look at my gimbally thing, because it just did not work properly. But last, I know it's a weird time for you guys, but if anybody wants to network with Cake, if anybody wants to sort of get involved.
Yes, please just go onto our website. You will find on our website lots of case studies, videos. We've got a YouTube channel, so you can see the work that they've been doing, lots of case studies. It might spark you into thinking, well, maybe I should get involved in that, or I can do that. Please join, come onto our website. Even if you're interested in coming on a future programme, just register interest on there. So it's cakewales.org.uk.
Yes, that's what I was going to ask next. And I'm sure if you typed in Cake or CEIC on LinkedIn,
put Cake Wales.
Cake Wales.
Otherwise you'll get with something else.
Maybe I think I need to just put loads of stuff down here just to help us get out there. And if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe. It helps me become more successful, getting out there, finding more guests across Wales. We've got a really exciting list coming up soon. So I'm really excited to share that with you, from schools to growing projects, to councils, and there's some exciting developments happening in the background, which hopefully will be in a podcast studio as well. So it's all go at GreenWales. I just want to say one massive final thank you to Jill. Thank you for the training, for one, and thank you for coming on to GreenWales, even with all the little hiccups in between. But it's normal. It is normal. It is normal here. Grassroots for the win. Bye.